Good evening to you all, and many thanks for joining us here on Rwanda Television News. We hope you had yourselves a very productive day. Now, on top of our edition, these are our headlines tonight. Some of the residents who have received financial aid to help them get out of poverty and who made good use of it confirmed that they are happy with the progress they have made despite having started with a small investment. The 2023 report by the World Bank on the remittances ranked Rwanda the second, right after Mozambique, in the sub-Saharan countries that had the highest growth in remittances, as this report shows that it had an increase of 16.8%. We are very glad to have your company tonight, coming to you straight from the heart of Africa, Kigali, and our bringing to you the news is Martina Avera. Now, some of the residents who have received financial aid to help them get out of poverty and who made good use of it confirmed that they are happy with the progress they made despite having started with a small investment. We have more on this report.
Rwanda Jean-Berkimas from Gakenke district in the northern province was given 50,000 Rwandan francs after being selected among the needy who received the support. They asked the residents to choose a needy person who can be given 50,000 Rwandan francs and not waste the money. They chose me. I got the money and bought pineapple seeds and planted on a big land. When he made the initiative, he was mocked by his neighbors. Today, Nirivamunda earns a minimum of 100,000 Rwandan francs per week. During the harvesting season, I get about 100,000 Rwandan francs or more every week. I have no luck now. Some of his income is saved through savings and credit groups, locally known as Ibimina. In one saving group, I save 5,000 Rwandan francs every week, and in another, I save 20,000 Rwandan francs every week, and in another group, I save 15,000 Rwandan francs every week. When it's my turn to acquire the money, I can easily buy a 2 million plot of land. I bought huge plots of land all over this area, yet I was in need before. I used to beg for a bottle of beer, but I can now buy it for myself. I even build houses. One is my own bar, I rent another one, and another is the store for my produce. Urazwi Maria Margaret started business with an investment of 2,000 Rwandan francs, then received support through government programs. To date, she is preparing to take on the driving test and become a motorcyclist. I used to purchase maize for 2,000 Rwandan francs and resell it with a 2,000 Rwandan francs profit, and then purchase more for resale. I later joined a saving group. I acquired 80,000 Rwandan francs and used it to buy a plot of land. I continued saving, and later I acquired 100,000 Rwandan francs and then started constructing a house. After maize, I embarked on purchasing and reselling onions. In Goma district, some residents received the support, slightly higher than those in Gakenke district. In August 2018, Rwamirindi John received the first round of support from Give Directly. After 2 months, he received more money, totaling 800,000 Rwandan francs. He has been using the support to transform his life. I used to plant fruits on a small scale. After I got the money, I increased the land on which I plant, hence generating more profits. I kept reinvesting the money, hence more profits. From that, I managed to educate my children because I had 6 children who were all in secondary schools. His neighbor, Ndaruhutse Spirie, embarked on small-scale trade. I renovated this house and bought a cow. I used the rest of the money to start this business. My capital wasn't beyond 200,000 Rwandan francs. Before, paying a community health-based insurance was a problem, but today, I and my family have no problems. We have enough to eat, and we even have surplus.
ndetse n'abaturanyi n'abasaburi.
Twahirwa Alexis, officer at the Murama sector of Chirhead district, say when citizens are well prepared, the support given through various programs becomes crucial in boosting their development. The monthly support is meant to help them live a decent life. When a citizen plans well, they can achieve a lot with the money. Some buy domestic animals, which can multiply and help them transform their lives. From there, they can get health insurance and food on their table. In Rwanda, there are about 1.8 million families that need to be helped to get out of poverty. Sam Kalisa, Rwanda Television News.
Thank you, Kalisa, for that report. The 2023 report by the World Bank on the remittances ranked Rwanda the second, right after Mozambique, in the sub-Saharan countries that had the highest growth in remittances, as this report shows that it had an increase of 16.8%. Adam Squizera has more with this report.
The World Bank's report 2023 on remittances in sub-Saharan Africa shows that Rwanda had a growth of 16.8%, while the leading country, which is Mozambique, had a growth of 38%, and Ethiopia ranked third with an increase of 16%. Rosine Kamagaju, who is in Rwanda, and Olivier Gatete, who lives in Denmark, are among of the Rwandans who often send and receive money. They believe that it's an activity they are proud of, since it helps to build their country. Currently, you can do it while sitting here, and therefore that money can reach to your relatives or business partners immediately. As I also thank the banks that came close to us, since you know that our president always tells us to remember our home country. Like before, we used to face this challenge, where it took much time to transfer the money, plus to that it was even at high cost. But now, it's very simple, as we access it at a very low rate. Therefore, I would emphasize everyone to use this option. When he was in the Senate, on December 23rd last year, the governor of the Central Bank of Rwanda, John Rwangonga, told the members of the Standing Committee on Political Affairs and Governance that the telecommunication has greatly simplified the process of money transfer to people, whereas he noted that they're going to facilitate Rwandans who live abroad by showing them the cheapest options. It has become so easy here on the African continent due to such mobile money services. But for us, what we can do is to look on which mobile network available to swift this, plus promoting that as well. For example, when you are in Mozambique, how would you access that? So people need to get such information. Figures from the Central Bank of Rwanda (BNR) demonstrates that the cost of remittances in Rwanda reached to 7.4% of the total remittances from 9.5% in 2019. However, this cost seems to be higher than the growth rate, which is at 6.25%. The amount of remittances sent to the country by Rwandans living abroad was increased by 16% in the last 10 years, which already hit $461 million in 2022. The renowned building in Kigali City, MIC, was built by only diaspora who later got trouble of paying bank loans due to the COVID-19 pandemic that affected major traders across the nation. Governor John Rwangonga explains this case. The issue that happened is that they took short-term loans, comparing to such long-term investment that needs long time to get paid. Therefore, some banks just wanted to call for an auction. But for that case, we're looking on how the government would involve in that case through its support, since you understand that they invested in a mega project with a short-term loan. In addition to those remittances, the Central Bank of Rwanda says that only 10% is the rate of money sent abroad. Since in 2020 and 2021, the country received $333 million, and only $37 million was the only amount to be sent abroad, while in 2021-2022, $480 million came into the country and only $41.8 million was sent. Remittances to sub-Saharan Africa increased by 1.9%, which resulted to an amount of $54 billion. This year, an increase of 2.5% is expected, since the cost of sending $200 in this region has reached to 7.9% of the total sent. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
While statistics show that the Eastern Province has the highest population in Rwanda, with more than the provinces, the National Institution of Statistics of Rwanda highlights a pressing need to enhance the housing system. The fifth population and housing census results emphasize this urgency as the growing population strains available land for agricultural use. Olive Nete with more.
In the village of Mirama in Nyagatare Cell, as well as elsewhere in the Eastern Province, farmers have already started harvesting maize. On just 1 hectare, where Mukawaziga Esperance planted crops, she's prepared to harvest no less than 6 tons of maize. As well as his colleagues, they believe that the Nyagatare district has great opportunities. In this agriculture season, since we had rain and the fact that we also used organic fertilizers, we got enough productivity because the soil is also fertile. We only face problems when it is sunny, but when we get rain, we get enough productivity. The fertile land as well as other investment opportunities in the Eastern Province are some of the factors that attract many people from other parts of the country. The fifth population and housing census in Rwanda showed that this province in the last 10 years has received 1 million people from other provinces of the country. This is in addition to the fact that this province has the highest fertility rate of 4%, and statistics show that there are 433 residents per kilometer square. It is planned that in the year 2052, 903 people will be counted per kilometer square. The Director of Census's Department at the National Institute of Statistics of Rwanda, Habarugira Venant, finds that the increase in population in this province should go hand in hand with the improvement of housing in order to preserve the land.
There is a need to plan on how to reside in a small place, and people should think of habiting in close places instead of living separately on various hills, since this will also facilitate the country to bring closer infrastructures needed, but this will also assist in preserving the land for agricultural use.
The governor of this province, Pidance Rubingisa, pointed out that the indications of the census will assist in planning, a planning that changes people's lives, improves performance, and self-assess what needs to be done.
We look this into perspective of these indicators, but also while planning the future. We need to think about the next 5 years of this province by planning how we manage to enhance the housing system, for instance, since the population will continue to increase, and that's why we consider the land use planning to avoid doing it anyhow, but also doing it by putting into consideration of how to use it for other various things, such as for livestock activities and more.
Statistics show that the Eastern Province has the highest population in Rwanda because it is inhabited by 3,563,145 people, which is equal to 26.9% of the total population in Rwanda. Meanwhile, people living in the cities in this province are at a rate of 20.9%, while people living in rural areas of this region are at the rate of 79.1%. Olive Nete, RTV News.
Thank you, Nete, for that report. Huye rice farmers who are members of the Koairwa cooperative farming in the Rwasave swamp are complaining of a loss of more than 6 million of their rice that was damaged by disasters. Adam Squizera has the report.
In the swamp of Rwasave, there are some places where they get production and they already started harvesting, while in other places they didn't harvest any due to the fact that the heavy rainfall swept it away. We faced a big loss due to this heavy rainfall, which is going to cause many problems as we request advocacy. These farmers show that the money they received from the insurance company is not sufficient comparing to the value of production that was expected. The mayor of Huye district, Sevuteye Ange, noted that they will continue to support those farmers. What we are going to do first is to review the insurance contract and request support from those insurers. For us, what we are going to do is to support these farmers with the seeds regarding this disaster they faced, since the farmers say that the money they received from the insurance company are insufficient. Joseph Museruka, the project manager of the National Agriculture Insurance Scheme at the Ministry of Agriculture, explains that the participation of farmers in insurance will continue to increase. What we would ask those farmers is to request for insurance, since we've already put into consideration their request of raising the amount of money of refund. The area struck by the disaster in the Koairwa cooperative is 35 hectares out of 92 hectares that are normally cultivated.
Rubavu district say that the large power substation will be completed by June 2024, where it is expected to bring more results than the smaller one that was built 5 years ago. Adam Squizera continues.
In Rubavu district, those who fully access electricity say that the problem of its scarcity and lack of it has decreased, whereas currently the work that needs electricity is no longer affected much. Comparing to some years ago, there have been some days where electricity used to get carried off for almost 3 days or from morning to evening, but now it no longer happens. The Energy Development Corporation Limited points out that those problems that used to occur 5 years ago were solved by a small power substation built at Murambi in Rubavu sector, as explained by Tonest Higaniro.
Normally,
all the grids used to bring the electricity here in Gisenyi are those which came from Nyabihu and Mukungwa, because when the grid is long, there may be some occasions that the electricity can be carried off. So, for this grid, we simply help those residents to get uncarried off electricity. Due to the country's vision of energy self-sufficient, 2 years ago, operation was carried out on expanding this substation and building 3 large parts that include transformers of electricity, control room, and pipelines, which already reached to 85%, plus the substation, which currently receives more than 37 megawatts of electricity from the Shima power plant. Other grids are on the same line as the Murambi substation, so that there can be an exchange of energy from the Shango substation in Kigali city that receives electricity from the member countries of the East African Community, as well as the grid of Gishura. The construction of Murambi substation is part of mega projects that is integrated with the construction of others, including Shango, with the total cost of 60 billion Rwandan francs. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.
Residents of Kirehe district and their neighbors from the Republic of Tanzania say that they are happy with the completion of the 80-megawatt hydroelectric dam at the Rusumo border. They met the demand for all residents in the area to be given electricity. The Ministry of Infrastructure noted that 1 out of 3 of the electricity generated from the plant has been connected to the main grid. The rest will be shared with Burundi and Tanzania that are part of this project as well. Kirehe District Mayor Bruno Rangira reiterated that the move is aimed at helping residents speed up their development.
Rusumo power plant is a very important infrastructure. That is, first of all, that is very helpful for the increase of electricity in our country, but it is a very strategic infrastructure that is located in our district. We are very happy to host such an infrastructure because having such an infrastructure, it doesn't not only serve the whole country but also helps boost the economy of our district. We have more than 200 workers based in our district. There are a lot of commercial activities that go around the plant. But it also, we hope, it will also increase access to electricity in our district, because we still have some parts of our district that don't. We plan to increase electricity. So far, access to electricity in our district is about 72%. And with this power plant, we believe even the remaining percentage will get electricity.
With the completion of this joint project, it is expected that the country will not need to use its electricity and sharing it in a certain time. They can be able to sell it to another country that needs it. On behalf of the news production team and the technical team, we would like to thank you very much for sticking with us on RwandaTV News. Stay safe and have a great night.